and welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hello, 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 and welcome. Enchanters, and welcome to another episode of the Enchantress Society with Tia. I really so probably once to say I'm so excited for this series, but let's be honest, I get excited for every series because what I learned, the research that gets done, and just in knowing how it will benefit whoever listens to these episodes any way, shape, or form always makes me so happy because I know that we are all experiencing things, even if they're similar, or sometimes let's combine the two words, the exact same to same. Sometimes we have the same experiences, sometimes we have similar experiences. And, how do you process that? Where does that come from? Why are you having that experience, right? Like, who are these beings trying to connect with you? And so here we are. And I was actually scrolling down the episodes to look at some of the other series. I know we had the Protection Magic series. Did I say the Days of the Week? Several other series that were done that you guys liked. But also, it was fun doing the research. I really like doing research. I had the Unlock Your Magic series. We had the Full Moon, working with crystals, the Protection Magic. Yeah, so there's been a couple. There's been a couple of series working with other goddesses. So for this series, we have the Dark Goddesses. I don't know what is with me combining words. I almost combined it, Dark and Goddess. Okay, here we go. The Dark Goddess series. I have to tell you, earlier this morning, even now, I still feel a little off. I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's a solar flare. There's a little, blurb somewhere in the universe, something. I tend to find it out afterwards, like, oh, there was some celestial thing going on, and people who are sensitive probably felt something or couldn't go to sleep for a couple of days or something like that. And I recently discovered that. I'm trying to remember what it was called, where it was something that happened and it resulted in some people getting higher blood pressure at that time, not sleeping, and I didn't. Like, I just could not go to sleep for a couple of days. I thought I was just excited for all the things I was creating. I mean, it's probably a combination. So anyway, this morning I just felt off. I was trying to work, it just wasn't working. And this is the morning of the recording. And I don't know, it was just one of those things. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a break here. We're gonna stop. And that's what I did. I just did not work in the morning. And later on in the afternoon, it finally came to me. And I'm telling you this because we all go through these feelings, right? And we try to push through them to get shit done. And that's not how it's supposed to go. And it's not me saying how it's supposed to go, it's our nature. We're supposed to process that feeling. I understand some people can't just, say, oh, I'm not going to do work today, I'm taking off today. I get that. But there are pockets of time throughout the day that we can devote to getting in touch with our feelings, like when we're going to the bathroom, when we're taking a shower, while we're waiting in the doctor's office, while we are, we park our car, we don't walk in right away. Maybe give yourself 2 or 3 minutes, stuff like that. Those little pockets of time, that's when you can get connected with yourself. And so later on in the afternoon, after I pulled some cards, the message just came through. And it was, remember, when you get this feeling, that's when you first you break through something and you look back and you know that you didn't have to worry at all. Or not as much, because let's face it, I'm going to worry a little bit. And I totally forgot that I had this same feeling back in December where I just felt so fed up and what's the direction, what's going on? Like I need to figure this out. And yes, I do yell at spirit. And I know this is not part of the episode, but it's coming through and I feel like we need to hear this. It's okay to yell at spirit because I'm someone who I will believe in something, and I do believe in many things. Excuse me, but also I have like a little bit more concrete evidence than numbers, right? I'm feeling some type of way, and I might see 111, 1111 or a feather. That's great confirmation. I love it, but I'm also an impatient person. I want quicker results, and what I want results is not a feather, not numbers, and it makes you think about communication styles. Okay, like I have to understand that's how spirit communicates. Just like I communicate in a certain way, it may bother some people, it may not. Some people don't like cussing, and I'm not for them. That's okay, right? They're going to get the same message from someone else who doesn't cuss, and they're just a little different. So I get it. So if you're listening to this, this is timely. The dark goddesses look at shadow work. They don't shy away from them. This is why this message is so important too. Is I had to give space for myself and really look inward and pull some cards for some guidance because I was just a little bit stuck in my zone, like, this is ridiculous. And so what I'm saying is it's okay. It's okay. You want to have a little vent session, vent sesh, and get it off your chest. Have those couple of moments and then go do something else that has nothing to do with what you're thinking about. And then circle back and you'll see that you'll get that message. And it's true. Like I legit felt this way in December. And then the breakthrough happened. And it's like, you forget about sometimes all the work you've done and got you here. And that's holding you over. So if something isn't happening, you want it to happen, you feel like nothing's happening. It's not true. So that's my sermon for today. So now with the show. The Dark Goddesses. I decided to do this because I was just called to do this. I wanted to do another goddess series for a very long time. I didn't know the angle at which I was going to have these series. And then I just kept hearing dark goddesses, talk about the dark goddesses, the dark goddesses, dark goddesses, goddesses, dark goddesses. So here we are. And when I say dark goddesses, it doesn't have anything to do with, white magic and black magic. That doesn't even exist. That's made up. There's no such thing as black magic evil, white magic good. That's made up. Okay. This has nothing to do with any skin complexions or anything like that. When I say dark goddesses, when you see that on blogs and other places, it's in reference to what they do, where they reside, their realm. Okay. So these goddesses, they work within the shadows. They work with the shadows, such as shadow work, such as things that we, put on the back burner, off to the side, things that we suppress within ourselves. It's in the dark. Also, things that we have yet to discover, right? It isn't all bad. Like shadow work gets a bad rep because it's not pretty. You ugly cry, you're vulnerable, you feel exposed, you feel naked, but you uncover a lot and you heal a lot. For example, think about this. People who've done shadow work, they consistently do shadow work, you never hear them say, I did it and that sucked. It was terrible, it did not work, right? You will never hear someone say shadow work doesn't work. It does. You will hear the process is intense. Like I said, you're uncovering a lot. You have nowhere to hide when you're doing shadow work. Okay, and these goddesses go toward that. They work in the underworld, right? Those are the goddesses that deal with not just things that are on the surface level, but yes, death, life, rebirth, and so forth. Crossroads, right? These are the goddesses that are taking hard looks at things and guiding you. Right? They don't make the decision for you. You make the decision. They're the guide. They lay out scenarios for you, and you pick. All right. So death, transformation, protection, rebirth, prophecy, shadow work. That's what these goddesses work with. Okay, that's how they operate. You'll see we have several goddesses that we want to talk about, and I'll actually tell you every single one. So I just wanted to make that clear. So when you see dark goddesses, it has to do with dealing with more, quite frankly, the harsher stuff. Like I said, the shadow work. You're going to end generational cycles that aren't good. It starts with you. You're going to be at the forefront of stopping, toxic people from being in your lives by looking within. And, maybe you gave people too many chances. Maybe you've been too nice. There's nice in the middle, right? We look at scales, one side, not nice at all, horrible, mean, nasty. On the other side, too nice, no boundaries. Everyone takes advantage of you. You're burnt. You don't understand why you're not going to appreciate it because you do everything and you show up. And the middle is just being nice. It's like that. Okay? They will guide you and you pick. Right? So keep all that in mind. Even with and it's funny because I pulled an oracle card for you as well. And I'm going to talk about that because the word on the oracle card is one of the words I just described or just stated. And, with the cycles of death, rebirth, birth, it's acknowledging endings and beginnings in literal terms and figurative terms. And, sometimes it's the figurative that's harder to let go because we look for the good in people sometimes, or we hold on to that one thing that happened 10 years ago that was great and the person's been shitty ever since. Or maybe they weren't really that good of a person to begin with. They just had little moments where they've done something good, but it's not good enough, right? If you were dating someone and they are a phenomenal cook, but they're verbally abusive, their ability to cook does not supersede their verbal abusiveness, right? It's like, no, gotta go, right? And we're not gonna give them credit for being a good cook. It's like, well, at least he was a good cook. No, that dude is an asshole. He gets no credit. Or she was an asshole. She gets no credit, right? So it's about understanding the ending, right? It's about what's done is done. Now it's time to give birth to something else, give way to something else. And with the transformation part, that's us accepting change, stepping into change. These goddesses deal with things that are not easy. I'm not saying that with other goddesses, they deal with things that are just super easy and like, no. Goddesses that deal with love and empathy and compassion, that's not easy. It is hard for people to love themselves. It's hard for people to be compassionate sometimes because some people, they never receive compassion. So I'm not saying that's easy. I'm not saying goddesses who work with abundance deals with easy stuff either because we got to get over mindset blockages about abundance. You have to talk about how you are deserving of abundance. Excuse me. Right? So what I'm saying is with things like that, that's more easily received. That's all, as opposed to let's work with transformation and shadow work, right? Even then when I'm saying I'm like, that's more dense, that's more heavy than let's deal with self-love. Like, yeah, how are we gonna do that? All right, let's deal with ending friendships and relationships. Oh man, wow, I don't know if I can do that. That's but it's a different side. Some things are just more receptive to people than others. I even dealt with this when I wrote my first book. I did not want to write about goddesses because I thought people were going to think that I was crazy. No one was going to buy it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to write about angels. Angels are more readily accepted. And this is before women would call themselves goddesses and queens and things like that, So I was just like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna know. And I just heard the yelling of a lifetime. You gotta write about guys. It's gotta you have to write it. You have to write it. You have to write it. I even had a little vision, and I posted on Instagram. It was years ago. It was back in 2014, and it was a symbol of a goddess like, on my mug. And I almost didn't take the picture because I saw the little beam of light. I'm like, whatever is that? And I saw it again. I'm like, what is that? And I took a picture, and it looks like a woman. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell the whole description. I'm going to repost it. I got to find it. I'm going to repost it, and I want you to tell me what you think. Okay? So, uh, my Instagram, like, what's my Instagram? My Instagram is cosmic underscore witch underscore goddess. Let me know what you see. Okay? And the book ended up becoming a bestseller, sold internationally. Like, ridiculous, right? That's what I'm saying. These goddesses, they are here to help us with the more dense, more rough, more things that are not literally accepted, received. It's not easy, right? But someone's got to do the job. You know, these are like the goddesses that run towards the fire, not away from it. Okay. So I talked about, okay, prophecy. Not everyone wants to know their future. Oh, excuse me. But some people who do come to me, they want to know, will this relationship work out? Will I get this job? Moving to the city, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the thing. Some things are destined, no matter what. It's written in the patient records. It's like you're destined to do certain things. You can get a clue by looking up your life path number. So you add up, it's your life path and there's another path. Both of mine are 8, so I don't remember which is which. But you add up all the letters of your name, and each letter has a number. And you can Google this, and then you add all that up and you get the number. And if you get a number, let's say 34, two digits, you add them, you get 7. However, if you get a number with the same numbers, you get 33, 11, 22, 44, you keep it that way. And you look up what that means. So that's like a different power number. Same thing with your birthday. You add the month, the day, the year, you get your number that way. And then you'll have clues as to what you're destined to do and who you're destined to be. All right. So, for example, my life path number is 8. So, financial business sector, abundance, wealth, all that. That's part of my destiny. And then there are certain life choices I make that can go this way or that way based on everything that's going, but I have free will. So when the prophecy comes up, is based on several things. Some things that you are destined to do, that's written in the patient records and other things based on what's going on. That's the outcome, right? And the things that happen in between is not ever a direct route, right? It's a serpentine route, but sometimes we get really derailed and we got to circle back. So that's where it gets a little crazy. All right. Now, let's talk about the first goddess, Morrigan. Now, there are several ways to pronounce her name. Don't get too caught up in that. Get on with the vibe that you connect with the most, right? Just like it's multiple ways to say Hecate, okay? What feels right to you, because that's how you can connect with her. So we are starting off with Morrigan, also known as the Phantom Queen, the fearsome Celtic deity and Irish goddess of death and battle. Okay, so why should we work with her and how to work with her? And let's get into this. So why work with Morrigan? Well, she's also one of the goddesses that's about sovereignty, right? Being your own queen, only having your own queendom, really declaring who you are, what you're capable of, your sovereignty, being that free, uninhibited person who knows who she is, or at least working towards that. Okay, and it's crazy because she actually appeared in my dream as well, her and Hecate. So working with her helps us to deal with the things that we don't necessarily want to engage in, but we have to. For example, sometimes we have to be in a battle with something, right? We don't want to do it, but sometimes we have to take a stand. We have to speak up for ourselves. And I'm not saying battle as if, you are going to war with an entire nation. What I'm saying is we all have our own private battles, okay? Whether you're battling your weight, whether you're battling self-acceptance, whether you are battling people who are constantly criticizing you, saying that you're not going to amount to anything, whether you're battling leaving a relationship, whatever it is, we're going through our own quote unquote war, our own battle. There's something that is causing us to feel a type of way. And we want to burst out and do something like there's something in us that needs that transformation to happen. Sometimes we need that push, right? We just need someone to go like, do it, go. You got all the skills. You may not feel like you have all the skills. You may not feel like you're equipped, but I'm telling you, if you take this one step, I'm going to help you take the next step. And if you take that next step, I'm going to be right there for you, guiding you. But if you don't take any steps, I guarantee you, nothing's going to change. And you will be less and less happy as time goes on. And we know that when things like that happen, physical manifestations show up, right? Such as a sprained ankle, such as we'll get like a common cold, forced downtime to make us think about things. Or people are going to show us even more of their true colors. Opportunities will present themselves for people to show who they truly are, right? So this is why it's so good to work with Morrigan. She's like that big sister who's been there, done that, and can give you some game, right, to cut that on your learning curve. Okay. Now she also has shape shifting abilities, and she's also represented as the prone goddess. So the mate and mother prone, she's the older, wiser one, which makes sense because, like I said, been there, done that, boom. All right, she's also associated with passionate love, sex seduction, and darker nature, such as infidelity, which usually has a negative outcome. She's often represented as part of triple moon goddess and associated with the crow. Call upon her for prophecy when you want to call on energy to shape, shift, or transform. Her candle colors are scarlet and black, and I will give you the links to my sources as always. So this is a combination of research and what I have experienced. Okay, so shape shifting, always be adaptable. That's something my papa told me as a kid, always be adaptable. So when you are shape shifting, you're transforming, right? Think about it. Maybe you dye your hair, get a wig hair color. Maybe you gain some weight or lose some weight. Maybe you gain weight and get toner, or maybe you slim down, lose some weight. Maybe you'll get a tattoo. You are shape shifting. You're transforming into something else, into you 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0, wherever you're at. Especially if you're in the Enchantress coven, you're the new witch, the brightest witch, the witch queen, or the witch goddess, right? So you are embodying each witch. Okay, so here is with shape shifting. What do you want to shape shift into? Who do you want to truly be? How do you want to truly show up in the world? Right now, I'm realizing that my clothes are not reflecting that cosmic witch goddess energy that I wanted to reflect. Because for far too long, I've been compromising myself by wearing a few blouses and stones and jeans, but I want to wear flowy dresses. Okay, I don't like to wear a lot of clothes as it is. So a nice dress, some spanks so the thighs don't rub together, and I'm out the door, as opposed to pants and then a top and maybe, some other top, or it's just, can I just get a bunch of celestial looking dresses and call it a day? And some chunky necklaces, call it a day. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So I'm transforming to embody more of what I'm already feeling, saying, and doing. Right? I'm going to complete the look. So as you're transforming, you're shape shifting into something else. What is it? This is the time to be 100% honest with yourself. What do you truly want to do, look like, and be like? What is your truth? And Morrigan will help you with that. I understand some of my spiritual friends are in, excuse me, the spiritual closet for safety reasons or personal reasons. A lot of people who deal with me, it is personal to them, and I totally get it. One of my life purposes is the keeper of secrets. So it's natural that people who want to be private about their spirituality come to me. Totally get it. What I'm saying is, for you, those who can't be 100% out the closet, you can do little things, right? Your tie can be a celestial dark blue color with a gold trim on it, maybe. Or maybe your cufflinks can be sapphire. Maybe your shoes are dark blue and the belt's dark blue. Maybe you wear more dark blue dresses, or like just something that's known to you, that's personal to you. Or maybe you get a small tattoo, right? That reminds you, oh yeah, you know what? I'm a celestial being, or I'm a hedge witch, or I work with Fae, I work with the elves, I work with God, something to help you remember who you are and how you want to show up in the world. Okay, so there's little things you can tweak, adding like a little, maybe a sun and a moon earring, something like that. Okay, little things that can help you until you're comfortable enough to be more expressive. All right. And you will also see with all these goddesses, they're going to deal with taboo things. Like sex is taboo for a lot of cultures, right? And then love, not necessarily that it's a taboo, but love is used as a weapon, and that can become taboo. So they're looking at relationships regarding love. Is it actually love, or are you enamoring someone? Is it an interdependent relationship or a codependent relationship, right? So that's what these goddesses do. She will help you. You're in a relationship and you're not feeling it. You don't feel 100% appreciated. It's just something that's like, ask Morrigan to give you guidance. And then turn on TV or scroll through Instagram, and you'll get a message some way, shape, or form. You might even get it in your dreams. All right. Let's talk about her association, and then I'm going to get to the oracle card, and we're going to talk about how we can work with her, because it's pretty much the same as I discussed in a previous episode, how to work with goddesses. And that is episode 316, how to work with goddesses and other divine beings. So it's not going to be too far off from that. So here we go, association. So how do you know if Morrigan is reaching out to you, right? She sees that you're doing the work, or she just sees something about you. And now she's like, all right, let's work together. Well, you might see spears, swords, sorcery, shields, shapeshifting. So as I'm going through this list, just keep in mind, you may be watching a movie and see a bunch of spears and crows, and then people wearing a lot of purple. It's like, oh, snap, that's Morrigan, right? So again, this isn't about going out and searching, like, oh. No, live your life, and it's going to click. You might see a crow and not do anything of it. Then you'll see 4 people wearing purple. You're like, okay. Then you go watch a movie with your nieces and nephews, and it's like Animorphs, whatever that show was back in the day, the kid that turned into animals. It's like, oh my God, those are 3 messages right there. So keep that in mind. Other things: death, rebirth, the cycle of life, fate, battle, skulls, blood, prophecy, sovereignty, land. Animal, scavenger birds such as crows, ravens, vultures, eels, wolves, cows, and horses. Colors: red and black, white, purple and dark blue. Stones, obsidian, ruby, jet, amethyst, garnet, bloodstone, clear quartz. Symbols, 3 interlinking lines or inverted triangles. Herbs and plants, blackthorn, belladonna, Jupiter berry, sorry, not Jupiter, juniper, not Jupiter, juniper, berries, nightshade, dragon's blood, mugwort, and yew. Now I know belladonna is toxic, so I don't know about the other ones. You know, I'm always telling you, do your independent research, okay? Moon phases, the new moon, also on the dark moon, and the waning, I said waning, wow, waning moon. And you can also connect with her at fords, rivers, and lakes. Her season is autumn, specifically Samhain, no surprise there. Foods, milk, whiskey, apples, water, any red color foods, elements, fire and water. Her festival is January the 7th, the Feast of Morrigan. And there's a song here, Celtic nursery rhymes and folk songs referring to 3 black birds or ravens. So those are some of her associations. So if you see any of those, keep in mind she's connecting with you. You know, she's calling you, she's like texting you, like, hey, let's work together. And then you answer the call. So how do you answer the call? So that leads us to how we can work with her. Now, you can do what I did, which was when you get a dream, you just start typing in stuff in Google and you start putting the pieces together and you go, oh, snap, and that's who that is. Now, in doing so, you can do several things. And keep in mind, you can tweak this. These are bonuses. At the end of the day, you are the magic. So you can sit alone in the room, say her name over and over again, and relax your eyes, take deep breaths, just watch your breathing, relax, and just wait for thoughts and feelings and visions to come through. That's the simplest, most easy way. However, some people have a hard time staying still, concentrating. So this is where what I like to call the bonuses come in. The candles, the crystals, the audio, guided meditations. That's where those come in, okay? Especially if you're a visual person like me. So you can get a candle as one of her colors, red or black, dark blue, purple. Okay, you get a couple of them, meditate them around, or you get one candle, light it, look into the flame and say, Morrigan, Morrigan, Morrigan. Great goddess of naming, life, death, or excuse me, rebirth, death, transformation, family queen, Morrigan, Morrigan of, great shape-shifting ability, beautiful Morrigan of passionate love, sex and seduction, so you can greet her any way you see fit and welcome her into your space. I welcome you into my space. Please shower me with your guidance. Please guide me as I embark on this journey of shadow, as I embark on this journey of getting myself to the next level of me, as I shed and let die old obsolete thought processes, belief systems, friendships, situations, careers, all that. Guide me as I drop all that. Clear, cancel, and delete. It's done. Okay? And then dance if you want to. You can pretend that you're listening to music and just move around. You can create a playlist. I have a witchy playlist. You can do that. There's so many things you can do. And actually, I'm going to be loading. You know what? Yeah. I just thought about the card. You know what? Let's get to the card because I want to post it. All right. So that's that. Those are some of the ways you work with her. Saying her name several times calls her into your space. Looking into a candle brings her into your space. You can go out and walk around in nature. Call her into your space. You can go out when it's the dark moon and connect with her, say her name, taking that nice night air. Okay, you can get books and read more about her. You can read articles about her, talk about her. Okay, learn more of her symbols. Okay, just really get involved with that. So I'm gonna read the oracle card, and we're gonna talk about my dream because it leads to Hecate, and Hecate is the next goddess on the list. So the card that I pulled here is protection, and that was one of the words that we said that I said earlier that these goddesses work with death, transformation, protection, rebirth, prophecy, and shadow work. And so I shuffled these cards ahead of time. These are the hold on, spell casting oracle cards. Okay, so pretty. So with this protection card, there's a woman, and she is holding the world in front of her stomach. So it's like the world is her stomach. And she has one hand on top of it, one hand underneath as if she's pregnant. And there's, I guess, some sacred geometry behind her. It looks like she has an earthy crown. So like a bunch of flowers, headbands. There's a butterfly there and some white flowers. I don't think that it's baby breath. It's maybe it's baby breath. Anyway, white flowers. And she has this white aura around her. And in the middle of her chest, it's like a yellowish white bright light. Okay. So with this protection card, first, so I asked Goddess Morrigan, what's the one message people need to know when they listen to this episode is protection? And I see why. When we embark on doing shadow work, and sometimes shadow work shows up uninvited. If you see my reel on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. Shadow work shows up uninvited sometimes. A trigger happens, oh snap, you feel some type of way, you're processing it, and the actual proper way to process a trigger is to get down to the nitty gritty, like what's the source of it, so we can address it, not so that we can not get triggered anymore, but address it so we can be more in control of our emotions, understand how that makes us feel. The whole process of going through that. Like, it's just such a relief whenever I do shadow work. It's uncomfortable, but it's such a relief. So what Morrigan wants us to know is that you are safe and protected as you do this work. Yes, it's scary because it's like going to our own personal underworld, right? It's dark. There are torches in the hallways to guide us, but there's still pockets of darkness, like there's pockets of light. And we're looking into ourselves. So there are parts of ourselves that we just don't know about, or we just haven't seen in a while. Like when's the last time you were creative? Like truly, truly creative. You just let your creative process flow. You didn't judge it. You just, you picked several colors and see how it made you feel. And you picked that one, like, yeah, that one. You didn't pick a color because, it was some neutral tone that's just acceptable. You picked the color that you love because it's what you wanted. You see what I'm saying? Like, when's the last time you were so creative that you were just so happy with the decision that you made? Too many times as adults, and it happens, I don't know, from either from grade school to high school, or from high school to either college or workforce, whatever we choose to go to military. Something happens where our creativity volume for a lot of people just gets turned down and down and down and down and down. And that's just creativity. I'm not even talking about other things in our lives that we turn the volume down just so we can, assimilate. Okay? You should have saw my facial expression when I said assimilate. So funny. One day I will have these podcast episodes with this video involved. Because I have a lot of facial expressions. You'll be cracking up. So it looks scary. Like I said, especially with shadow work, you feel vulnerable because you are. You feel naked because you are, in a sense, figuratively. You can't hide from anything. So, and again, because that transformation, it's a lot of unknown. Darkness is mystery. It's unknown. Think about it. Whenever we watch like a mystery show or something like that, there's usually, like a mist or a fog somewhere. It's like, ooh, unsolved mystery. Something like that. I'm glad because there used to be a show back in the day called Unsolved Mysteries, and this guy wear a trench coat. But anyway, it's like that. There's eventually some kind of air of mystery, and mystery is always like dark and a little bit seductive, and that's what these goddesses are in their own way. Each of them are seductive. They are tapping into the very things that that come across as like, oh no, oh my gosh, wow, she's really out there. It's like, yes, but it's that air of mystery and seduction that happens and self-discovery that happens, but you're protected in this process. So what does that mean that I'm protected? We're protected. It means that it is safe for you to do this research. It is safe for you to do the work. Now, this means that you may have to do the work in your room because you can't do it in your living room because you have roommates. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean to go out there willy-nilly and be like, hey, man working with God is Morrigan, all of you, like you muggles are corny, like you muggles it. No, it's more along the lines of it's safe for you to do the work because you're only going inward. It's safe for you to do the work. It's safe for you to research the word, and it's safe for you to transform. It's safe for you to shapeshift. It's safe for you to do all of it. And even with shapeshifting, you can be in your dreams and be a bird, and travel somewhere astral, in the astral realm. There are a lot of things you can do with shapeshifting, but what I'm saying is it's safe for you to do all these things. A lot of people get really nervous because they think, oh, what if I connect with something evil? None of these goddesses are going to direct you to do something harmful. It may feel scary because you're going to tell some people, no, you're not going to be present all the time for people. You want to reclaim your energy. You want to take your energy back. So it's going to feel like you're being mean and harmful, but you're not. If someone can't respect your boundaries, then they never respected you, right? They have this image of you in their mind, and they feel like that person, that image of you that they have in mind, is readily available from them no matter what. That you can be their emotional punching bag. That you can, that you're just basically supposed to be there, and you're like the secondary. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here. It might feel awkward. You might feel guilty initially, because sometimes these are people who you care about in a way, right? Sometimes, but it's okay. You're protected. It is safe for you to do this work. That's what this card means. There is, looking at the chest of this card, there's a light within you that just it's shining, but it can be brighter. Like we need to turn the volume all the way up. Because here's the thing, people are going to say things anyway. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you don't do anything, or if you kind of sort of do anything, then you're a bum. You kind of did it. You never completes anything, blah, blah, blah. If you do something very well, it's don't forget to be humble. Why? Sure, of course, be humble, but sometimes you got to toot your own horn. You got to stand at that podium and be like, Sweet Thought, I would like to thank me for being me, for believing in me. Like it's to the point now where some people they don't want to say their accomplishments because it'll make other people feel some type of way. Listen, that has nothing to do with you. They want to be mediocre, let them be mediocre. Or if they're happy where they're at, that's on them. But they have no right to make you feel any kind of way other than to make you feel happier. They have no right to make you feel guilty, ashamed, embarrassed, dumb, ugly, not ready, any way that's negative, anything. They have no right to try to even make you feel that way. And if they do, because they see you doing this work, then you know what you have to do. Set up even stronger boundaries. Do not answer their call every single time when they call. Do not respond to them right away when they text you. Okay, when they ask you for something, I'm not available. Okay, even if you are, they cannot get the same you. Doing shadow work, this transformation and things like that, especially when you get your vision about your destiny, you can't have them whispering negativity, trying to plant these negative seeds in your garden. Okay, so Morrigan is here to tell you that you're well protected. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up with giving you a little bit of history about Morrigan because I keep hearing, tell them the history. I am big on history, but I knew that I had to talk about, the order in which I talk about things. I know the beginning was a little long, but that message just came to tell you guys about my morning, and basically how I overcame it. So before I get to our history, I want to tell you the lineup because I meant to tell you this in the beginning, but I just went right into because that's what I was getting. So next is Hecate, followed by Lilith, Freya, and Inanna. This is part one. Okay, so I don't know when I'm going to do part two, but there are more goddesses to cover. All right. So let's go a little bit about her history. I have a website here, goddessfood.com, and like I said, I will post information here. I mean, information in the link of this episode. So, and this is like a really nice, powerful picture of her here. All right. So it states, as I stated earlier, she's one of the great goddesses of Ireland. She's a multifaceted goddess. She is one as Morrigan and many, as Trinity, as the Morrigan or the Morrigan, I guess that's how to pronounce it. She is a shapeshifter, known for being a goddess of war and battle. The cycle of life and death, and also associated with wisdom and prophecy, magic of the land, and other aspects. All right, and let's see here. It states here the Celts idolized warfare and women were warriors up until 697 CE. Common error, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay, often fighting in battle and fighting in battle or helping the women, protecting their families and their land as dominant or was a dominant aspect of Celts pride and was reflected in the Morrigan. Let me see. Her origins can be traced back to the Copper Age megalithic cult of the mothers, the matroness, whom appeared as a triple goddess from narrative texts written by Irish monks sometime between the 8th and 12th centuries after Christianity replaced paganism as the dominant religion in Ireland. All right. Morrigan's connection to battle and why Morrigan was important to the Celts and their culture becomes evident in these texts, although that is not all she represents. Morrigan's name in history has various spellings. I know that. Okay, now she's known as the Great Queen name or Fan Queen. The word Rigan, which was part of her many spellings of her name, translates to queen. And the more, okay, the Rigan, which is in her name, because her name is spelled Morrigan. That means queen, and the more translates to great. I love that. All right, I'm just going down here. So she's depicted with her sisters many times. And it states here there are some stories that are contradictory or changed depending on the source. So that's understandable. However, she is first seen in battle with Mortora. Hope I pronounced that right. The race between gods called the Tuatha Dé Danann. That's that has to do with the fate, the little people, I remember, who invaded Ireland and their followers and the indigenous Burbolog. I know I'm butchering these names, forgive me. Before the battle erupts, the Morrigan cries out doom and uses sorcery against the Tuatha Dé Danann. Maybe I'm thinking about the other one, because I read somewhere that, anyway, doesn't matter. To rain down fire and blood so that they could not move for 3 days and 3 nights. All right, and it appeared, and then it goes on to say how she appeared as a young woman and offers a guy her love and aid in battle. He rejects her offer. In response, she intervenes and is combat person in the form of the ill, who trips something as a wolf, who stampedes cattle across the ford, and finally as a white red-eared heifer, leading the stampede, just as she warned in her previous encounter. All right, so she's offering her love, or, All right, and let's see here. It says on Samhain, Morgan has an encounter with the Daigod, the king of the Danang, before the battle against the Fomorians. When he meets her, she is watching battle close while standing with one foot on either side of the river, and they mate. Then she promises to summon the magicians of Ireland to cast spells on behalf of the Danann to destroy the Fomorian king. So she is like, if you are my ally, I got your back, and you are guaranteed to win. So yeah, she's associated with battle, bloodshed, and destruction. She was a powerful symbol of life and birth that could help believe she could revive their dead soldiers to fight once more. She was clearly a goddess who embodied a strong woman and Celt's love of warfare. She used spells and incantations, which is magic and sorcery, as her main weapon, yet she is also said to have fought alongside battle. In earlier Celtic accounts, her head was that of a crow, raven, or vulture, although she has transformed into a white cow with red ears, an ill, an old hag, and a young woman. She is also known as the Kalia crone who granted sovereignty or took it away from kings. Yes, I have read in several texts that in order for a man to become king, he had to marry a queen. And yeah, so I mean, she was worshipped as someone who could, bless them on the battlefield. She was associated with Samhain, and most of her worship tends to happen, on the battlefield, before, during, after war. And then there's just some other historical sites that you can visit. In Northern Ireland, they have here, among other places. So yeah, that was a little history about her. I apologize. I know I butchered the hell out of those words. It's like I do practice, but it's not my first language, and I try sometimes. Not sometimes I try, and just sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the link is in the description, so definitely you can read this whole article, which is beautiful. So yes, that's the Morrigan. Again, it sounds a little scary, and so life itself is a little scary, right? We don't have any guarantees about what's going to happen, right? We have plans established, and we want them to pan out. There's no reason why it should not pan out a certain way. And sometimes a wrench gets thrown in the mix, or sometimes it pans out a certain way, but then it just soars like, whoa, okay, I couldn't imagine that in a million years. Like, this did really well. So when it comes to this, to owning your magic, understanding the depths of yourself and working with these goddesses, feel that and keep going. Don't stop. Like, why would you stop in the darkness? Like, yes, we become friends with that darkness, but it's just like, there's also light. You don't have to stay in the darkness forever, But it is a time of self-reflection, is a time to go inward, it's a time to realize what truly works for us, what does not work for us. What do we want from life? Truly, right? So Morrigan is here to help us go through that process, which is so great that she came up first. And so in my dream, I was at my old house, and I was going to go up the stairs, but so at the old house, the living room was huge, and we had like these brick walls up, and on the side was the stairs. I don't know how else to describe it, but anyway, so you look up, and I see these creepy hands coming out. It's like, what are these hands? And someone's like fighting this creature, right? And so I come to find out it's a dark fae. And again, dark just means like just that. Not anything negative like that. And the creature smiles, and I realize the face, so I get like this iron, like I imagine iron, right? Because they don't like it. So it's a smile. I'm like, why is this dark face smiling? Like, it's iron. And then like I defeat it. And then I see this magazine that has this woman with this beautiful blue dress. Like she's on the cover, it's beautiful, and it has sovereignty going across. But then she transforms, and like I'm the woman, and I wake up. Like I remember thinking Hecate. I'm like, okay, I never saw sovereignty and Hecate in the same spot. So I do research, and soon I just wrote like sovereignty goddess. Morrigan pops up. I'm like, oh snap! One of her colors is dark blue. And working with Hecate, you end up working sometimes with dark fae. You know, they're part of that world. And so I also saw that, you know, Hecate and Morrigan are one and the same in many ways. So, and you'll see that with other goddesses too. You'll see, oh, this goddess is also this goddess, but, and again, it gets crazy. But, so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of work that gets done in the background, and that's what we're doing. And when we're ready, they appear. Or sometimes we're just working so hard, we seek them out, right, and connect with them that way. So in this case, Morrigan revealed herself to me, and I wasn't, like, she wasn't on my radar. Like, I just wasn't thinking, like, I knew of her, but I just, you know, I was working with other goddesses, and now here we are, and that's how that works. I didn't start working with Hecate, now I do. Okay, so you're going to experience these changes, and they're all good. Okay, so do not be afraid of yourself. That's really what this is. You are diving into the depths of yourself. There's no reason to be afraid of that. There's a lot to celebrate because on the other side of that, man, I'm telling you, unstoppable. Like even now, I feel so much more whole and so much better and so much more at peace. Every time I do more and more shadow work and realize, you know what, that ends here. And when I tell you, I've been doing this, but now I do it even more. I have dance parties by myself, 1 a.m. in the morning. Okay, I am happy. I eat dinner. I go to restaurants and eat dinner by myself. I go to, well, when we could, the movies by myself. That's what I'm saying. It will be to the point where when you are with your thoughts, you're not going to think, oh man, you know, I'm by myself. You're not lonely. You have these goddesses who are waiting for you. I'm here. I'm your co-pilot. I'm here for you. Okay, but we got to feel those feelings, and we got to look within ourselves, and we got to stop what's not for our highest good. And that's what's not pretty. And the not pretty becomes this horrible, ugly, nasty thing. That's not true. It's not pretty, but it's for your benefit, right? It's not pretty to get a doctor, you know, a checkup at the doctor's office. It's not pretty. The stethoscope is cold on your chest. You know, you got to take your bra off. You're sitting there and just like, all right. It's not pretty, but it needs to be done, and you're better off for it because maybe you got to go get a urine and blood sample, and something gets discovered, and then you can take preventive measures before it gets worse, right? So we got to start thinking about how this applies across the board. You know, oh, I'm a little bit afraid about that. Okay, well, I was afraid when I did this. I did it and I succeeded. Yeah, it wasn't pretty when I, you know, had to go get a pap smear from, you know, my doctor, but at least I know I'm healthy, I'm clear. Or something not right, I'm glad I got that addressed. Oh my gosh, that could have been so much more worse. Not pretty, but glad I did it either way, right? That's what I have for you, Enchantress. More to come. I don't even know how long this episode is at this point. Pretty long, but it's a lot of juicy information. And you know what? I'm sending you many blessings, lots of love. You know I'm rooting for you. Remember to be kind to yourself. Okay? And I will see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.